Hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining. Sue's going to start shortly. We're just giving everyone a chance to join.
Yep, another minute or so, and I'll start.
Oh, good.
I'm going to quickly grab a glass of water. I won't be too thick.
It's a good idea. We're going to start very briefly, guys. Sue's just grabbing some water, and we're just giving everyone a chance to get on because we had quite a few people register for today, so we don't want to start too early and have lots of people miss out. With questions, we should have time at the end to do some questions. If not, just chuck your questions in the chat and the girls can answer them at the end. If not, we'll get back to you via email after the webinar.
Okay, that was the timer that I set that I couldn't get to show on the screen. So everyone wondered what that was. Okay, let's go. If everyone's ready.
Go for it. It's all over to you, Sue.
Okay, all right. Well, hi everybody. I've put myself on screen for a minute, and I'll take myself off as I start to do the presentation, which will be now. Okay, so welcome everybody. There will be questions that will be answered at the end, so please pop them into the chat, and we'll cover them off at the end of the actual presentation. So this is my first Lunch and Learn, March 2024, which is what we're going to cover off, but I'm also going to cover off some more things about the cash management system that you may know, but you may not know, so hopefully you get something out of this. Let's just change slides. Okay, so I'm going to be doing the presentation and Melinda is going to be there to help with questions and everything at the end of the presentation. The agenda that we're looking at is a couple of things that were in the 2024 R1 release, excuse me, around bank transaction dating, different reporting, and then we're just going to have sort of a bit of a talk about bank feeds and reconciliation, as well as something that I found which was released in R4 2023, and that was the Bank Transaction Assist. So we'll have a look at that as well. So the first one we're going to look at is the bank transaction dating. Now, this was originally launched in 23. R2 is an early adopter program. It's now available for everybody. But I know this is an issue that caused a huge amount of grief to the consumers of bank feeds. So, you know, before transactions generated by creation rules were dated based on the company time zone, and bank feed transactions were dated based on the user time zone or the company time zone, which caused a whole lot of problems with inconsistent matches for reconciliation. It was just really difficult to work with them. So, you know, one of the things, let me just check what I've got here. Yeah, so one of the things to recognize here is that if you don't set a time zone on the account, the time zone on your My Preferences page is used. So if no time zone is set on your My Preference page, the company time zone is used. So that's one of the things that to think about. So as part of this. What I'm going to do is sort of go through the slide deck, and then we're going to have a look at some of this actually, you know, in the software. So if it seems like I'm going through it a bit quickly, that's we're going to have a look at it properly when we look at it then. So just so you know the requirements, the subscription is cash management and Sage Cloud Services. The permissions that need to be set up for the users based on credit cards, checks and savings, and they're all list, add, edit. And what I've also done on some of these is put the link so that if you want to go and have a look at the help at all, then you're able to go and look at the help topic based on this link. The next one that I just wanted to talk about very quickly is there now exists a reconciliation match sequence report. Once again, this was originally introduced in the last release, but it didn't really cover off everything that you needed. So, and it was done to bring visibility to your banking so that you knew what transactions were being matched off between your bank and your actual system. So now you can generate a custom report to see which Sage Intacct transactions are matched to which bank transactions. So that's certainly going to make that reconciliation process, or to understand how the matches were created, that's certainly going to make that a lot easier. Once again, I've popped the requirements on. So this is, to do this, it really depends on a number of things, but you might have a subscription to the custom report writer or Visual Explorer. You've got your permissions that you will need to have for those, as well as the dependencies. So, access to the data in the report or visual board that you're running. Once again, you've got the help topic there that you can drill down on to have a look at it further. The bank feed setup, I'm not sure whether everybody is using bank feeds or not, but it's a connection between Sage Intacct and your bank, and it's something that took a little bit of time for Sage to introduce, but they have now, and it's been running for a while. So it receives the bank transactions from the bank and automatically matches them for reconciliation, which saves time during the month-end close for you. So you can also create new Sage Intacct transactions using creation rules based on bank fee data. And that's things like bank fees, it might be interest. You can set up rules so it will actually create the journal that's relevant to those. If we just have a quick look at this particular slide, this talks to the bank rules that you're able to set up. So what happens is you set up individual rules. So, and there's a whole lot of different ways that you can do this. So you've got simple matching, which is basically just one-to-one, many-to-one, one-to-many types of rules. And then you've got, so let's just say that's rule 1, 2, 3. You've got also creation rules that you can work with, which is also part of what we're going to have a look at. And any of these rules that you set up all get put into a rule set. And once they're actually in the rule set, they're then attached to the bank account itself. So you can only have one rule set attached to the bank account. However, you can have rules in many different actual rule sets. So you're not limited to how you actually need to set this up for your individual banks. The other part of this that's quite important is to ensure that the user permissions are set up correctly with your bank feeds. So you might have your bookkeeper might actually perform all the reconciliation tasks, so sort of all your pre-reconciliation tasks. Your staff accountant might do the actual reconciliation themselves, or check everything that's in there, and then you've got your controller that'll be looking at the different reports. So it's important that you think about the permissions that need to be set up for this and set them up accordingly. The next one I want to talk about is this bank transaction assistant. And what it does is it helps you, if you find amounts within your bank account, in your bank rec, and you don't have any matching transaction, for instance, in your accounts receivable, or you're not sure, you can actually go through and just put the customer on that transaction. And once you've added that customer to it, it will actually do the post the payments in Intacct, and then they'll automatically match off in the reconciliation. So I think looking back on this, I think this came in R4 2023 R4. So that would have been the release before this last one that we've been talking about. So basically, it's it just helps make it a lot easier. And if you just look at the next slide, we can sort of talk through this. So You can use it to assign customers and receive payments in bulk from unmatched bank transaction data. So it could be an individual or bulk. You assign your customer to the unmatched bank transactions and begin the actual receive payment process. And once again, like I said, it does the matches off to your accounts receivable as well as to your reconciliation. Then when on the bank transaction page, you use the cash in view to display any unmatched credit type transactions. So this includes the customer ID and customer columns. You can quickly check which transactions need to be assigned to customers. And what we're looking at here is the actual workflow rules. So you can manually or automatically create assignment rules. So there might actually be assignment rules as well as you just matching the customer. You can do on the fly, assign customers to single transactions, select one or more transactions to create payments in bulk. Right, so sort of that's your third one, and then you choose the payment application method that fits best, and that would be something like take it off the oldest invoice, the newest invoice, the oldest outstanding amount. So you have a whole lot of different options there that you can work with. And then if you've got no open invoices, I like that, no open invoices, no problem. You can create advances when invoices are not available, which is really handy. And then you can, you've created them with, and like that is an optional, and then you can gain insight into the resulting payment applications and adjust as needed by doing a preview, and then commit the actual payments and post them. So this is one of the things that I actually was really happy to find. I think this is a really good step forward in how the bank rec was working, has been working in the past. I think after this one, we're actually going to go into the software and have a look at some of the things that I've just spoken about. So what I'm going to do is pop that screen up there. And now everybody should be seeing the Intacct screen. Please tell me if you're not.
Yeah, we can see that.
Awesome, thanks, Hez. So the first thing we're going to look up was, we talked about the dating, changing the date on your bank. And the best way to have a look at that, if we just do a view, you can see where you actually set that up. And when you slide down here, you'll see that there is a banking cloud time zone. So that's when you can actually then set the time zone. If I did an edit on this, for instance, that's when I can then look at what I want to set my time zone to. All right, so that is one thing that's going to help make that understanding how everything's matching in that time zone will certainly make that a lot easier for everybody. That was the first thing. And then the next thing we wanted to look at was the, I think we might have a bit of a look at the bank rules. And then we might go into setting up your bank for bank feed so you can see how that works. Let me just pop out of here. And if we come into setup, which is where you'll find these rules, you've got your matching and creation rules here. So this is where you start to put the individual rules in that you want. So simple amount, document number, and date match. You can do your many to one or your one to many, and we'll have a look at sort of how they're set up. The create rules, which I spoke about, which might be bank fee and interest payment. And I popped an extra one in here, which is amount only, which helps me with any testing and sort of stuff that I'm doing to just keep it really simple to test the matching rules. If we have a look at let's have a look at the bank fee, I think might be a good one to start with, a create rule. So basically what this is saying is that it wants the posting, in this case, it wants a posting date to be greater than that date. We want it to be equal to a debit, the transaction type, and we want it to contain the words bank fee. And then what you have is a journal entry called bank fee, which is just the journal. So we just know what it's going to do. It's going to the offset account for this, or you've got your bank account, I should say, and then you've got your bank charges account, so that it knows how to create the journal that's relevant to that particular transaction in the bank feed. What happens after you set all these bank rules up? The next stage to this is then you would go in, for instance, and set up a rule set. So here we've got once again, we've got, should I just go, yeah, the different types of rule set. But if we go in and have a look at it, so let's just pop in this one and edit. And these are all the different rules that are sitting within this particular rule set. So what will happen is that this will then rule set be attached to the bank, so that when you go in to do your reconciliation, the bank and your bank feeds start to come in. They will be matched off based on the rules around these rule sets that you've got in here. If we then, we won't actually go into a reconciliation yet. What I might do now is just show you the setup for the bank accounts themselves. So we pop into checking accounts here and we've got our banks. Some of them are already on the cloud. So let's have a look at the 200 here. So we do an edit on this. And there's certain things that you need to get from your bank from this, which you probably all know, but we hop into Banking Cloud and this is not connected. So therefore we can choose to connect. So this is now going to come up and say, okay, so connect your bank. So the beauty of this is that you've got, for instance, if I was in the US, these would be the banks. More importantly, if you're in Australia, these would be the banks that we currently have. So it's always a good thing to double, we have to really check carefully that we know that what banks you use to make sure that this is going to work for you. What I'm going to pop in here is I'm going to pop in Sage as the bank, because I want to use the Sage Demo Bank. And this is what I've used in the past, but it helps me simulate a bank reconciliation. So just click that and then you can continue. What happens next is you start to get information from your bank. So this is just a thing here that this is the Sage Bank Feeds Demo Bank. You'll be getting information from your own banks at this time, because you can't just do this without them telling you when it comes up with the banks. And if I choose the demo bank rather than the multi-factor authentication bank and continue, for me, this will start giving me transactions. But what will happen with you guys as part of this is you'll upload your transactions into your bank, which you can use one of the templates that's there, that Sage offers as part of this. And if I choose continue here, it will just create transactions for me to be able to use as part of a presentation. But what I wanted you to see was how you actually, it is an easy process. You've just got to get the information from your bank to actually be able to do this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll let it run. Click it'll finish. So it's all connected, and then it's taking me back into my bank, and the transactions are just being created as I go with this. So I'll come out of here now. Okay. What else did I want to show you? With the bank transaction, with the bank reconciliations itself, if we pop into a bank reconciliation. So I'm just looking to make sure I haven't forgotten something that I wanted to cover off. So here, once you go into your bank rec, you actually pick the account that you want. In this case, I'm going to work with 600. No, I'm going to work with the American bank actually. And I've got the information in here that I need. See here, we've got the applied rule set. Okay, so this is the rule set that it's going to work with. If you were doing an actual bank feed or having your bank feeds come in automatically, like I said, that would be working. What I will do here is I'm going to look at importing some data. So what I'm basically doing is simulating a bank feed when I do this. So I'm just going to choose the file that I want. Okay, and I'm just going to use the Skyline one here. Open that and hit done. And what this will do is let's just pretend the bank feed's going on. Continue. And this will go through and have a look at transactions. So basically what this has said is that if we have a look at Intacct, these are the unmatched transactions, but I can look at matched and apply the filter, and it would show me what transactions have actually been matched as part of this bank feed. I can also look at the bank side of it and see what's been matched. All right, so we've got your bank side here. So we've got, as part of this process, it would have been creating some bank fees and things as well. We can have a look at if there's any deposits and credits, apply filter. So you're starting to see what, you know, how your bank feed would work. It would go through and do all of these. And then the good thing with this is that you've got more actions, and this is where you can create journal entries, transfer funds, pay bills, apply payments. There's a whole lot of other things that you can do as part of your bank reconciliation. Okay, just quickly checking a couple of things again. So let's have a look now at this bank transaction assistant that I talked about. I'm just going to go into my Australian company for that. So when we looked at this, this is one of the things that, forgetting the customer names that are there for the minute, this is showing me that everything that's in the bank that's unmatched at the moment from a, excuse me, cashing perspective. So that's the view that I'm looking at. And what I can do here, I can look at an amount and say, well, I've been able to find this one, for instance. So let's have a look at this one here. And I can just tick that. Excuse me, I'm just getting water again. Getting over colds, I'm a bit croaky. Okay, so we've got this amount here. I've said, I'm just going to unclick these ones for the minute. Yeah, and we're going to go in and assign a customer. Okay, so we've got the amount and everything. Then what I can do here now is look for customer. So I'm going to assign this to customer 16045. Okay, and I can just save that. Okay, and it's as well on that page. So that's actually happened. With that now, you can see this CDH group that's down here. So the next thing I might want to do is receive the payment. Okay, so when I do this receive payments, what it does, it just, once again, tell me, do I want to do it on the one task? And I would choose here. So this is when I was saying that you can match to your open amount, your oldest invoice, most recent. I'm going to match this to the largest open amount, but I'll actually show you what happens first. While it's matched to open amount, if I do a preview payment application, see here it's come up with no match. So this is where you can actually then create an advance as part of this. So not in this particular area, but you know that there's no match. If you find that for all of these, then you would look at going in and creating your advance accordingly. What I'm going to do is change it to largest open amount and preview it again. So, and I can see straight away that I can apply it to this particular invoice that's within in here. Once I've got that, I can then actually choose to post it. Okay, so it's now done the posting, and that will be gone from here because we've already matched it off and posted it off. So I think this is a really easy way to do this. In fact, I've already put some in here, for instance, burn fill up. I can choose those just as another quick option here. And choose to receive payments. Okay, and I can just do it against those whole three will be done for me. So once again, I'll do it for the largest open amount first because some of these amounts are coming through opening balances and different things. But I can preview it, I can see what they are, and I can post it. So that's a really easy way to handle those, customer payments that are sitting within your, they haven't been able to match off as part of your bank reconciliation or your bank feed. That's a really easy way to set that up and then have that matched off against your reconciliation. Okay, so that was pretty much the end of my presentation. I'm not sure if there are questions or not. Lauren, are there any questions that Belinda might need to answer or that I might need to cover off?
Nothing has come up on chat. I have unmuted everybody though, so if anyone has any questions.
Okay, doesn't sound like there are any questions, so I thank you all for attending. If you've got anything special that you might like to see covered off in a lunch and learn, just perhaps pop an email in or log a support call, or get in touch, and something that we might be able to have in the future. Sorry?
Yeah, I was just going to say, if anyone thinks of any questions after they leave, feel free to email them through.
Yeah. Okay, well, I thank you all again and look forward to the next one. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Sue.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks, Sue. Bye.